Hello, when we are back, we've had our Christmas break, we've had plenty of turkey, we've had plenty of pigs in blankets, and we've had plenty of mulled wine. But we've also had plenty of football over the last couple of weeks, Charlie, to discuss. As if we can remember much about it.
Yeah, good luck. Uh, been a busy couple of weeks.
It is, it has. So we were last on, I think, the weekend before Christmas. So really, I think we should start with the Boxing Day games and have a look at them. So on Boxing Day, just as a reminder, Charlie, we had Manchester City absolutely thrash Leicester City 6-3. Norwich got annihilated by Arsenal 5-0. And I thought Saka played really well in that game. Tottenham won 3-0 against Crystal Palace. West Ham got beat 3-2 at home by Southampton, which was a bit of a shock. Aston Villa got beat at home by Chelsea 3-1. And Brighton beat Brentford 2-0. And of course, our beloved Liverpool didn't play Boxing Day. We were meant to play Leeds, I think. And it was
Yeah,
all COVID. Yeah. And it's hit us a bit. I think that's been the story of Christmas, really, is the COVID cancellations, hasn't it? Because there's been a few of them.
yeah, it's been very disappointing, especially with the Liverpool game being canceled. Those are what I look forward to every weekend. So
Yeah.
when my Liverpool game gets canceled, it's kind of like it brings the enjoyment level down a few notches for sure.
It does. I should mention before we go, John's not joining us this week. He's not feeling too well. So take care of yourself, John, and hopefully be back with us next week. Just get yourself
Yeah,
and get rested and get well. Yeah. He's probably a bit seething with Everton's performances over the Christmas period as well. I think they struggled a little bit
yeah.
in the FA Cup this weekend as well. But no mind, John, you take it easy, and we'll see you next week. But yeah, let's just look at the hi Sarah, welcome in. So the Boxing Day games. Let's look at this. Manchester City, for me, Charlie, are looking strong. Really, really, really strong. You know, they've won the last 6 games, or well, that's what's saying on the league. I mean, they probably won more than that in the last. They're in that part of the season where they just seem to have hit the run now, where they just want to go and win every game. But Liverpool and Chelsea, not so much.
Well, it's very, very tough. You have Liverpool and Chelsea who are very, very uh, tight teams. They're like really you have Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City who are at the top, but you have Man City. You got to admit they're a little bit higher right now. They seem to be getting all the luck as well as having all the quality. And Chelsea and Liverpool pretty much are a dead even team, even though I think Liverpool still has a little bit more depth. But you saw it on that Liverpool Chelsea game. You saw that it was, I thought we were going to win that one, but then there were lapses where we just let them back in the game and ended up being tied and sharing the points, which every City fan in the world was like, yeah, they're all excited
Yeah,
and that's exactly what you didn't want. If you wanted some type of tight race, you didn't want to share the points. Even if Chelsea got the points, at least it makes it tighter puts a little bit more pressure on City. But unfortunately, the worst result happened where they shared the points, and now City's up by what 10? But Liverpool have a game in hand. Or the Liverpool?
we're 11 points behind them, Charlie. We've got a game in hand, 8 points, 8 points. Even if we won the game in hand with which is Leeds, it's still 8 points. I don't see us climbing that back. I really don't. I mean, what got me was, we drew a game just before Christmas. Then we had the game postponed on Boxing Day, and then we had to go out and get a result against Leicester, and we got beat by Leicester. And do you know what? I'm gonna. The manager for me is the perfect manager for us, but I think he got his substitutions all wrong that day. I don't know whether he was being told by the fitness team, these players can only play for so long, so you're gonna have to take them off. And because the busy schedule as well, as soon as he took, the 2 guys out of midfield, we just didn't look like we were going to get anything from that game against Leicester. We'd lost the battle in the midfield. Leicester was winning everything, but bossing that midfield. And then we were going into like the Chelsea game, and it's like we have a great start. We had to start with it, and oh well, Allison can't play because of COVID. Klopp can't be on the sidelines because he's got COVID. You know, on top of all the other injuries we've got, and then we take a 2-goal lead. And I thought, oh, this is great. We can do something here. Hopefully, we can hold on and go at it. But then, for some crazy last 5 minutes of the first half, we let in 2 goals within 3 or 4 minutes of each other.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
it, And when I was sharing this link out on Twitter, that I put it was less of 'tis the season to be jolly. It was more the season to hand City the title, because I think that's what's happened, Charlie. I think it's like we're dropping points and City aren't. And next weekend coming up, it's City Chelsea. We can only hope that City and Chelsea draw. I think that's the best result for Liverpool, is a draw, or maybe
Yep.
even a Chelsea win. A Chelsea win might even be a good result for us, because if we win our game in hand, we're above Chelsea anyway. But ideally, you'd like the two of them to drop points. But with that far behind City, is a draw good enough? Do we need Chelsea to beat them? I think we do.
We definitely need Chelsea to beat them. I'd be happy with a draw though. For some reason, I have a feeling that Chelsea will not
Yeah.
get any points out of that game, unfortunately, because they tend to only raise their bar when they're playing us, not when it seems like everyone plays scared against City for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's already written where City's going to win, so they just put in a fight for a little bit, but at some point City scores something and then they just whatever. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Chelsea can take out their man card for a bit and win something, but we'll see. We'll see.
Trying to remind myself of where it is at. I can't remember if it's at City or if it's at Chelsea. I'm just going to look now.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so that's what I usually use to look up my stuff. So I'm using my tablet, which is slower to try to look up things today, and it's driving me nuts. It's taking a little bit longer.
It's at City. It's at City next week, so
so they're dead. All right.
It's say advanced City, but they don't. I don't know, because Chelsea, if they're on the game, they can get something from that. But it's if they turn up. If they play like they did against Liverpool in the first 40 minutes, then I think City will be well out of sight. I think there'll be more than 2 goals ahead, like what we found ourselves at.
Yeah.
I think they'll find it hard to get them back against City on that. But if they come out and play like they did for the remainder of the way they played against Liverpool, then I think they can get something. I'm hoping. I'm gonna cross my fingers and cross my toes that they get something from that game. I'll be more happy with the draw, but I'd be happy with a Chelsea win. What I won't be happy with is with the City win, because if City win, that's it. They're not going to drop much points between now and the end of the season. The only games they're going to drop points in is the likes of this, against Chelsea, against us, against United. And hopefully Arsenal start turning up in the season and start beating some of the top teams as well. But we'll see where they're going to go.
We'll see. I'm not throwing in the towel yet. Again, it's only half the season's done. A lot of things can happen. A lot of mysterious things can happen. Teams can get sick. They could lose their drive or something. Maybe it becomes a thing where they become complacent in their lead or whatnot, and they give a few points here and there. That's all we really need to get back into it.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up yet. Plus, now that Aston Villa has Coutinho, right? They're gonna stick it to Man City next time they play them. Hopefully.
That's a strange one, that wasn't it? The Coutinho going to Villa. We'll touch on that in a minute. But my beautiful wife is gloating again here, Charlie. She's climbed right up the table in the fantasy league, and she's only 3 points from the top of the league. She's had a good Christmas period. I've had an awful one. Well done, Sarah. Well done.
Yeah, I'm sinking like a rock. I'm
Yeah,
going down and down and down. And like, I have all my players on the fantasy league are like, they're all red tagged. They're all either injured or out. Or it's like, come on. Even I can't even play a bench boost because they're all sick. They're all injured. Like,
yeah,
come on, give me a break.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
Hopefully they get better.
I'm in the same boat with you, Charlie, over Christmas period. I think it was just before the Christmas period. I had like a wild card I could play, and I played it and changed most of my players. So I could have quite a number of players there when all the COVID thing was hitting off. But then
Yeah.
through the Christmas period, I've been absolutely annihilated. I think I'm close to getting rooted to the bottom of the table. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
What's all about Coutinho? Well, I wasn't expecting that Coutinho going to Villa. I think he's gone there on loan. He's going to work under Steven Gerrard, who he knows well from his time at Liverpool.
Yeah, I like
It's
that. I like that
strange.
he's going to Villa and he's going to under Steven. Obviously they have a relationship. Steven knows what Coutinho is capable of, and I think he's a little bit the way Steven Gerrard's career kind of ended with Liverpool and him coming to the States or whatnot. I think Gerrard sent Coutinho a little bit of a lifeline, saying, this he is a really good player. He was really really good for Liverpool,
Mm,
and sometimes superstars they see the flashing lights of Barcelona, they want to go try their try their skills there, and but just like Klopp called it, you go to Barcelona, you're just going to be just another player in the team. If you would have stayed at Liverpool, they would have built a statue to you, but he had to at least try it. You can't really blame him for wanting to go to Barcelona, um, but it wasn't a good turnout for him. But now he's going to get a second chance, I think, at Villa. We'll see because Villa's not Liverpool, and you're still limited by the players you're playing with, right? And
mm,
Aston Villa is not at the level of Liverpool or Chelsea, not yet, anyways.
no.
But hopefully Coutinho will be able to at least get his form better, maybe, and get maybe a new contract maybe next year, or maybe he'll stay there, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I used to like Coutinho. Um, sometimes he was not the best defensive player, and but I think he's a decent player, and I think Villa are good for getting him for at least the half. They have him for the rest of the season, so I think he'll be a good pickup for them.
Yeah. You took the thoughts right out my head when you started paraphrasing Klopp when he first left about him. They'll build statues here, and you'll just be another player at Barcelona. And Sarah's saying you can't blame for wanting to chase as big a team. It's accepted. That if you get a player from South America, their big thing is Barcelona or Real Madrid. You know, we could discuss, whether it's warranted all that hype around about two teams in for me, a very poor league. But it's you can't blame for doing it. But at the same time, we've seen this many times before where players have left Liverpool or other clubs like United and Arsenal and in their heyday and that. And they leave and they think they're going off to something so much better and it's going to work out so great for them and it ends up being really a big backward step in their own career.
Yeah,
What you've got with Coutinho now, he was at Liverpool. Yeah, when he left Liverpool, we were still just starting to build under Klopp. We weren't the Liverpool that we are today.
yeah,
We definitely wasn't. And he was got the big lights of Barcelona. Coming. He said, "Come and play here," and it didn't work out for him. But did he not think? Yeah, he's a star at Liverpool, but you're going into a team that at the time I think had Neymar as well in there. And Messi. You got them players to dislodge to get in there. And Coutinho as well, as good as a player as he is, he's not on the same level as Messi. He just
yeah.
isn't.
He's not. Yeah,
But
um,
hopefully it works out for him at Villa. I think it's a great signing for Villa. I think Villa have done a real good job there getting him in because he's a great player. If he starts getting some game time, he'll start getting his form back. And who knows, maybe one of the bigger clubs will come in for him as well in the summer. Do you know what I mean? Because at the minute he's struggling to get a big club to come for him because he's not playing. He hasn't got the form there. And then people are thinking, well, has he lost it? Has he still got it? Do you know? So the big clubs aren't really looking at him, which is a shame. Like, because I'd personally like to see him back at Liverpool. I'd have him back at Liverpool, no problem, definitely. You know.
Yeah, I don't see Klopp going for that. Once, he tried to keep him here. Great. Coutinho made his choice, and I think Klopp is someone who would be like, "No, you made your choice. Sorry, we're moving on in a different direction." And plus, Coutinho's what, 29? So how many good years does he have left, anyways? 3 maybe,
Three,
if he gets back to form.
if he looks after himself, it's like Salah. Salah's 29, but look at his physique. He looks on top of his game. As long as he's
Yeah,
looking after himself, you see him players. Look at Ronaldo. How old's Ronaldo now? Is he 37? You
yeah,
know,
but yeah, he's not a Ronaldo. He's
I'm not
not
saying
gonna
he's a
keep care of himself,
Ronaldo,
I don't think.
but
And
look at James Milner. He looks after himself. He's still able to play a part in Liverpool at his age. So if he looks after himself, he can definitely. I think he's got another 4 or 5 years left in him at the top. But he's got to
yeah,
get back. He's got to get that reputation back now, Charlie, because he's lost his reputation. He had a good reputation at Liverpool of being a really creative player, and he could thread the ball through the eye of a needle, and he'd find gaps that other people couldn't. And there's times when I think when I see Liverpool struggle against some of these tighter lines, I think, well, Philip Coutinho could unlock these defenses for us, but he's not. He's not playing much.
no, he was mid left, right? Was that what he was playing, or?
He was more like a number 10, wasn't he? He was a number 10. He used to sit behind the forwards, so he'd be the
Yeah,
creative player. But since he's gone, we've never played the number 10 really, a traditional number 10 that sits in behind the forwards. We've had
yeah,
Firmino who come in, and we've been playing him as a false nine.
yeah. I'm just curious, because there's some people that I hope that Klopp gets rid of. They're just not up to snuff. Like Keita. I hope he sells Origi, even though he's great in special occasions, and he's definitely helped us win some key games. But Origi as a regular player is very substandard Liverpool in my mind, and like I would rather see Coutinho on the field than Keita. Keita does nothing for me as well. And to tell you the truth, I think uh, if you can get anything from Mane right now, sell him. Mane is declining, and he hasn't been a superstar. He's been spotty even at his best. You said great. He scored whatever 20 goals this season or whatever, but he's missed like 60.
Mm.
And you look at how many goals that he should have had. He's probably scoring 1/3 of them, which is not a good stat. So I'm fine with them. If they get rid of Mane, get rid of him.
Yeah, this is the thing, because just before we move on from the Coutinho, Harrison's saying, he really didn't know why he's moving, but he gets it. At least he's going to get to play. But yeah, he is going. At least he's going to get to play. He's going to get some time, and that's a good thing for Coutinho. And who knows? It could be a good thing for our beloved Liverpool, Charlie. We might get him back in a good bit of form. I'd like to say there's certain players that leave that I don't want to see come back. And then there's certain players that I leave, and I understand why they've gone, and I can go, do you know what? He is a good player. He was a great player for us. If he can show that he's still got it in the Premier League with Aston Villa, why not? We haven't got the money, Charlie. We haven't got, according to FIFA Fair Play and the rules of FIFA Fair Play, we are able to spend over 200 million. But it's one thing being able to spend over 200 million and having the 200 million to spend, which I don't think Liverpool have got. And I read various websites and forums and whatnot, and it seems to be like, no, Liverpool need to sell before they can buy, because that's the way the financial situation is, because of COVID and all this, the lockdowns and whatnot. So I'm with you on Mane, and I've already done him on my fantasy Premier League. He's gone. He's not scoring me enough points, so I sold him last week, and I've changed them for Saka, and that's another player. I tell you what, he is some player. Him Saka, he's going to be one of your top players in the Premier League within the next 2 or 3 years, I think. At Arsenal, there, he's having a really good few weeks since Arsenal turned the form and started getting some results. I think Saka's been one of the shining lights. You know,
Yeah. Well, it's good that while you touched on Arsenal, because I want to touch on that Arsenal Man City game, because I think the beginning, before they got the red card came out, they were going toe to toe with Man City for a little while there.
Yeah.
I was hopeful that they might take some points. Then they make some stupid thing to get himself red carded, and then now they're playing with 10 men again. Of course, not like when they played against us, they held us, they kept the points even. Of course, they have to give Man City points, right?
Yeah.
But that was before the red card came. They were holding their ground against them. They were actually pressing, and they had a chance to win it just as much as Man City did. But of course, they went and got the red card. Another thing I get upset about, it's just like these other teams. They tend to do stupid stuff against City that costs them points, and
they
then
all
cost
do it
us
for a reason,
a point.
Charlie. They all do it for a reason, so they can stop Liverpool winning the title. As long as Liverpool don't win the title, that's what it is.
Conspiracy. That's right. The whole league is in it against Liverpool.
There was I can't remember which game it was over the festive periods where we had the referee. I think it was against Leicester. I think it was the Leicester game. I think the referee had a stinker. You know,
the one we lost, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I've got it in my head that he had a stinker, and I'm trying to remember why. But it's trying to pick that memory out. It'll come back to me. It'll come to me. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so that was the Boxing Day games, or bits of bobs of something else. You know. Let's just have a look here. Let's have a look. So, and then you had the New Year games. So that was like the Chelsea Liverpool 2-2. You know, Everton getting beat at home by Brighton. That was a shocker. I didn't see that one coming. I thought Everton got something out of that. Brentford beating Aston Villa 2-1. But the result that made me the happiest, Charlie, on the New Year games was on the 3rd, when Manchester United got beat at home by Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. True. I still enjoy watching United lose. So it's funny. Now they're the most since Man City sold that guy to Spain. Now, man, United is like has the highest expense with their players now. I guess they're the most expensive team now. I guess so, and that's doing them a lot of good.
How much it's costing to buy the players and stuff like that. Well, Manchester United have spent a lot of money, and I do see a lot of what Man United are doing at the minute is what Liverpool was doing in the early 90s. Trying to throw money at the problem. Liverpool done the same. We tried to throw money at the problem all the way through the 90s and into the noughties and beyond as well. We tried to throw money at the problem. It didn't work. It's all right. It's all right spending all this money. It's how you spend it. If you're not spending it wisely, then you're not going to do anything with it. In fact, you're going to waste money. Which is a shame, because I'd like to see Man United up there challenging for the title, but I don't see it this year. I don't see it the year after. I don't see it next season. Maybe the season after. I think they need a couple of transfer windows, and they need to allow the manager to settle in, and give it a good go. When he does come in, I got the interim manager now. Until
obviously they thought that when they bought Ronaldo that they were going to be they're going to be title contenders, but that has gone totally the other way. I think Ronaldo cost them points. Getting Ronaldo, with the synergy of the team, with now people start relying on Ronaldo instead of him acting like a team player, as in, okay, we all have equal responsibilities. People start saying, okay, we have Ronaldo though. Pass the ball to Ronaldo and he'll score 10 goals or whatever, you know. And that didn't happen. It's not happening. So they
Mhm.
had to reset. I think they had to reset their brain a little bit and their style. And obviously, they they sacked Ollie. So and now the other new guy, the other new German guy, right, who was the
Yeah,
mentor to
to
Klaus.
Klopp, Tuchel. Yeah,
Yep. So now he's in charge, but I
but
don't see him doing anything special now either. So
only till the summer, Charlie. So I don't see Man United doing much in this transfer window, January.
yeah,
You know,
not gonna.
unless the new guy who's going to be coming in has no say on transfers. I don't know. You know, because some clubs do run like that. Um, Watford being a great example of it. You know, they are going by the players, and the coach's job is to coach them. You know, and get them playing. It's not that they're not there to choose the players and who they want for the team. So it all depends how Man United want to set up. I said it when it happens. You know, the interim manager. It just seems a bit strange. You know, if your manager that you've got as first choices available or not available, why don't you just go out and do it? You know, Aston Villa done it with Steven Gerrard at the exact same point. You know, he went and got Steven Gerrard. You don't know what complications. I mean, if they go out in the summer and they appoint someone like Zinedine Zidane, who is already available because he's not working anywhere, then the interim manager thing seems pointless. Should have gone and got Zinedine Zidane at the start, you know. And
Yeah,
then, but if it's something like Pochettino, where there's a bit of wranglings to go on with the negotiations with PSG, totally get it. You know, it's just it'll be interesting to see where Man United go in the summer and how they develop.
yeah. But those would be my two top choices. Yeah, Zidane or Pochettino.
Mm.
Pochettino was a good. He was good at Tottenham. I don't think he was given any money, or enough money to make them contenders. But for a while there, Pochettino had Tottenham playing just like Liverpool. You know, they were rock and roll football, and
Yeah,
but then it lost his luster, and he obviously they got rid of him. But I'd be worried if Pochettino went to Man United. I'd be worried about them becoming a force again. So
yeah, definitely. Well, he definitely get the backing. He definitely get the money because Man United have got the money. He can spend it. You know, they can go and get the players that he wants. But he's going to need a few windows to get the team looking like a Pochettino team, or if Zidane comes in like a Zidane team, because you know he's got Ole's team there, and he's got a little bit of Mourinho's team still there as well. You
yeah,
know, it's like going to need a bit of time. I think they will get back there. You know, you don't keep a giant like Man United down for long. They will get back there. So be interesting to see in the summer where they go. You know, but they didn't have a great start to the year. You know, getting beat at home by Wolverhampton Wanderers. You know, as we seen when they played Liverpool, Charlie, they are a tough team. You know, it took us right until the death to get that goal to beat them. Um, but yeah, Man United need a little bit more players, some better players. I'm with you on the Ronaldo thing. I think that was probably one of the worst things they could have done. His ego won't help in the dressing room. There was that point where he looked like he was mocking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, how he acts on the sidelines. You know, that can't have been good. But we'll see where they go. You know, but not a great start of the year for Man United. Um, so the one team that did get off to a good start in the year was Tottenham. They beat Watford 1-0. And Tottenham quietly going about the business, Charlie. Quietly going about the business and picking the results up, I think.
yeah. Well, Conte has proven that he's could win the league, right? He did it with Chelsea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tottenham has a confident manager at the helm. So yeah, it's going to take them obviously. But is he is he going to run into the same problems that Pochettino had? Is the management going to give him the money and the players that he needs to actually win the league, to win the Champions League? They came really close with the Champions League. I think they only lost it to us, right? I think with Tottenham, or am I messing that up with Chelsea? Not sure. But anyways, but I think the limitation there is going to be the money again with Tottenham. But I think if anyone can do it, Conte can probably bring them a championship. Again, they're going to need some players. They're going to need some time. I think anyone. I think with the Premier League, if you're in the top 10 and you just brought in a new manager, give them time. No, you're not going to worry about getting relegated or anything. So give them time to do what they want to do. Try to form the team that they want, that they need to have for their management style to work, and give them time to try it at least. You can't be
Yeah.
getting rid of managers every 2 years or 6 months or something. You can't be doing that, because then the next manager has an even tougher job, because now he's working with 3 other managers of their players, and they're not his choice. So you gotta give
That's
them time.
That's it, and that's exactly what's going on at Everton. John's team. We spoke about this on the show with John as well, and he agrees with us that Rafa Benitez needs time, but he's in a difficult position, Rafa, because he's a former Liverpool manager, so he's not getting the time. I don't think from some of the fans. I don't think he could do any right for doing wrong sometimes. But he again, it is a results business. If Rafa doesn't start picking the results up, he's going to have to watch his back, because he'll end up getting shot. They'll end up getting shot of him. But it's again going on to what you're saying there, is about having all these different managers, players. So at Everton, he's managing 3 different managers, maybe 4 even managers, signings, who were all signed to try and play in a certain type of way. So you got 3 or 4 different ways of playing and 3 or 4 different types of players in there. So they do need time. They do need the transfers to get them going. They need to be able to coach the players into playing their way as well. Because some players, it's not like because they were signed to play in one particular way, that's it. That's the only way they can play. They can be coached. They're professional footballers. They pay an obscene amount of money every week. They should be able to adapt to a different way of playing. So yeah, I think you're dead spot on. We've got to give the managers some time. But how much time? Some people will say 2 years. Some people say 3. Some people say 5. All depends, doesn't it, I think, on the situation they are when they come into the club. So if I was like looking at, say, Manchester United now, them coming in, the manager coming in, I'd say you need to give him at least 3 years. At least 3
Yeah,
years.
at least I'd say at least 2 years. That way they have. If you give them 4 transfer windows to bring in, if you don't start seeing results after 4 transfer windows, then you can start maybe thinking. But that's just the start. That's okay. Now you think after 4 transfer windows they could have a big change towards what they want what they want their team to look like. But then you got to give that team a time to gel and start being cohesive and stuff. So yeah, I'd say you need at least 3 years to say if it's to tell if it's if it's going to work or not. You got to see some type of results, but again, you can't just. I mean, even 3 years, it's like it'll be tough depending on how much the team needs. If the team's just lacking 1 or 2 players, then you can do it shorter. They're
Yeah,
lacking. If you need a total makeover, then you need at least 3 years. Yeah, I think you're on it though.
yeah. And it all depends on the club and what the ambitions are. They've got to set the ambitions realistic. I think for Man United over 3 years, it's realistic to set themselves like a target of, right, we're consistently in the Champions League. We're getting into the Champions League regularly. We're getting towards challenging for the title, or even putting in a bit of a challenge. A sustained challenge. I think that's a realistic target for Man United, for a team like Man United. But the likes of Aston Villa, where Steven Gerrard's gone, the realistic one there is to say cement yourself as a top half team within the next 2 or 3 years, then maybe push for Europe in 4 or 5 years. And then push like that. It all depends on, as long as you set the bars realistic, you'll be good. I mean, just don't go down the road of Watford. Watford seem to change the managers like there's nobody's business. They lose 2 games, that's it. We're changing the manager. Well, that's not setting realistic bars. You know, your Watford Football Club, you're going to lose games in the Premier League. There's no two ways about it. You know,
Yeah.
and you're going to lose a
Yeah.
few of them. You know, what you should be doing is setting a target of survival, mid-table, top 10. You're progressing as long as you got on the realistic timescales as well, depending on how much money you want to go and spend on players.
I agree.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I touched on Tottenham there, saying they're picking up the results quite handily. They've got one of the best forms in the last 6 games. You know, they've won 4, drew 2 in the last 6 games. They've actually got, they've only played 18 games, Tottenham. You know, they've got 2 games in hand on West Ham and Arsenal, and they're only 2 points behind Arsenal, who are sat in 4th. You know, so quietly going about the business. And I think with Conte being in there, I think we'll have a good push. I think they'll have a good 2022. I think they'll have a good 2022, both at the end of this season and start of next season, and see where they go from there. But yeah, we'll see where they are. But what we'll do now, Charlie, is we did some predictions at the start of the season. Me, you, and John. It's a pity John's not here, but he isn't well. So we'll start with John's, right, and we'll see how he's getting on Charlie. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So on the left is the table as it stands today, and on the right you can see there John's predictions. So he had Chelsea to win the title. They're currently 10 points behind Manchester City, who he had in as second place. He had Man United in at third, who are currently in 7th. Got some 11 points off third position at the minute. You know, Liverpool.
Yeah, not too impressive, John. Not too impressive.
Liverpool at 4th. Arsenal are currently sat in 4th, but he had Arsenal at 11th. To be fair, I don't think any of us have got Arsenal quite high up the table, if I remember rightly. Like,
I had him 11th too. Yeah, so actually,
Leicester at 5th. And that's still a realistic one because Leicester have played 18 games. They're on 25 points. They've got 2 games in hand on the West Ham United. So that's 6 points if they pick them up. Not quite catching West Ham or Arsenal, but they're getting closer. So it's realistic that they could get 5th, Leicester. And this is where we spoke about this with John as well. He said Leeds. He had Leeds quite high up because they had a good first season. I think you'll see when I get mine and Charlie's up, we had it a bit different. we had Leeds a little bit further down. But yeah, I don't see as he's got Norwich right. He's matching with Norwich. He's doing well there.
Yeah.
Newcastle's 19th. He's got them at 15th. So Brentford at 16th. They're 12th. Southampton. Where do they have Brighton? Brighton 14th. And Brighton are currently where? 9th. So he's matching 1 at the minute, John. Never mind. Still another half of the season to go. We'll see how you get on with that. But let's have a look at yours, Charlie. Let's see how you're doing. Right.
Okay.
You got Liverpool as champions.
I know. I always let my feelings interrupt my choices, but they can still pull it off.
It's not dead in the water. It's still there or thereabouts. We're still in a fighting chance. It's not mathematically impossible. But only
at least my top 3 are right? At least my top 3 are right.
Your top 3 are right. You've got Man United at 4th.
Yeah, that was right after I heard the Ronaldo news, and I wasn't thinking clearly and how that was going to affect the makeup of the team too. So,
to be honest with you, Charlie, I can understand it because at the start of the season, I don't think anyone was thinking Man United were going to go. And to be honest with you, look at them, the 7th, right? They're not having that bad of a season, right?
Yeah.
They only played 19 games, right? They are bang on half their season. They need to improve on the 31 points over the next 19 games. They need to score more than 31 points on that, because getting 31 points is only 62. I don't think that gets you your Champions League. Really doesn't. I think you're going to need 70 points here. But yeah, they're not. I think at the start of the season, I think you're right. Fourth, I was toying with Man United. Fourth or fifth, I went with someone else. But I think I've got Man United up towards there, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got the top 3 right, just not in the right order.
Yeah.
But we'll go with that.
Not too
Everton
bad.
got it 6th. That's miles out. Leicester 7th.
I was giving Everton way too much credit, I guess, huh?
I just think you probably just didn't want to upset John too much. That's probably what it was.
Could be, yeah. Or I was maybe hoping that the manager was a miracle worker, but then again, forgot he was dealing with Everton, so it's only so much you can do, right?
I'll tell you what, though, you've got 2 of the bottom 3 right as well, just not in the right order. You've got Burnley and Norwich in there.
Well, I was really, really hard on Brighton, huh?
They've had a really good start of the season. Now, they've had a good first half of the season, Brighton.
Yeah.
They had that really good start where they were in the top 4, 5th, something like that. Obviously, over the last few weeks, they've not been doing as well. Just trying to see where they are at the minute. Yeah, so they're currently sat at 9th. And the last 6 games, they've won 2, drawn 3, and lost 1. So they're not having the form that they had at the start. But certainly, if they can match the 27 points, Charlie, on that, I think you're 12th, 13th by the time you finish. If they match the 27 points that they've done there.
Maybe.
Half of the season. Possibly. But yeah, I'm trying to see if you've got any exact matches at the minute, and I can't see them. Nearly, but
I don't see it either. I know. Well, even my Brentford, I had at 10th. They're currently at 12th, but they're only 2 points. My choices are really close to where the table is.
Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to compare it as a half season where we're at because we've had so many games postponed. I mean, look, you've got Tottenham, Leicester, Everton, and Watford all on 18 games, so they haven't even reached the halfway point yet.
Yeah.
And then you've got teams like Manchester City and Chelsea who've played 21 games, and then Liverpool, Arsenal, West Ham, Crystal Palace, who've played 20. Look at Burnley; they've only played 17.
Really? Wow, that's true. Yeah.
So it's really hard to say, right, this is where we are on the halfway point. You're doing all right, but you can't because some teams will be on the halfway point, some teams are before the halfway point, some teams are bang on it. So it's a bit difficult. But let's get mine up. Let's see how I'm doing. Let's see if I can go.
Yeah, you got the top 3 right here, so you got the number 1 right as well, huh?
Yeah, if Liverpool win the game in hand, I've got the top 3 in spot on. And if Tottenham win 2 games in hand, I've got the top 4 spot on.
Yeah, you do. Look at you.
Yeah, look at that. My bottom 3 though, not 1.
That's true. Wow, yeah.
I've got Wolves, Watford, and Brighton. So I've got my fingers burned with Brighton myself there, Charlie. I don't know why I did that. I think it was more down to the fact that when we were doing the show at the back end of last season, it just felt like all we were talking about was Brighton losing, and struggling to stay up.
Yeah.
But when you actually watched them, they actually played quite well.
True. Yeah.
Yes, we're all optimistic for Everton, Sarah. Yes, we definitely was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Everton in the top 6. Is that possible now? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Don't think that.
Probably not. No, they've lost too many that they've at least should have drawn with. But
Yeah,
um,
they're not picking the results up. They're not getting the rub of the green, if you like. If you look at the form there, in the last 6 games for Everton, they've lost 4, won 1, drawn 1. So it's not great. It's not great, and you can sort of understand some of the Evertonian frustrations with that. They're not getting the results.
yeah,
But yeah, we spoke about that to death over the weeks. But yeah, that's not looking too good for me either. I might have the top 3, top 4, maybe right. I don't know, but I'm not feeling comfortable about anything else there though. Newcastle thought to do better than they did. They're in the relegation zone, and I don't see them surviving. To be honest with you,
well,
uh,
you had Brentford up in eighth, huh?
yeah, got Brentford up in 8th.
Helpful for those there.
Uh,
They do impress you once in a while. Just
yeah.
they got to get their consistency going.
Well, yeah,
I think they're probably going to be the. I think they're probably going to prove themselves to be the best of the rest, which is pretty much either 10th or 11th. That's what I'm still putting them at.
well, they're currently at 12th now. Um,
With a game at hand, if they win, they could
they can go
probably
to 11th. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Um, But I think what you're going to see with Brentford is they're going to survive. They're going to sit mid-table this season. But I think next season, what you're going to see is what's happened to Leeds this year. You know,
Or Sheffield, yeah. Or they're gonna
mm,
crash and burn. Hopefully they don't, but they're fun to watch.
that's it.
And they pull out a surprise once in a while.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think seeing teams like that come up from the Championship into the Premier League and give it a good go is something that you'd always like to see. Leeds done it last season. Brentford have done it this season. It's always nice to see a team that's come up from that league and stick to the way they play, especially when they play expansive, exciting football. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's what you want to see. That's what the Premier League wants. The fans of the Premier League around the world want to see that as well. They want to see more teams adding to that spice and that, adding to the flavour of the league itself, which for me is the best league in the world,
I
really.
think so too. I do think it's like they want to see again more teams playing. They don't want to see anybody. Um, I like the league where at any given week any team can win. Usually, and for the bulk of these teams, that's true. I wouldn't be saying that with Norwich and not this season and whatnot, but it's definitely compared to other leagues, there's more of that chance.
Mm,
So I definitely like the league, and you're hopeful that when I was looking at the schedule, obviously Man City still has to play everybody, and I see some games there that they could possibly, even if they just held to a draw,
yeah,
you know, I think there's still chance there that it's still open.
yeah.
I'm hopeful.
From a Liverpool's point of view, though, Charlie, we've got to negotiate January without Salah. I know Mane's not on form, and Keita, I'm with you. I don't know what he brings to the team. Lovely fella, but what does he actually bring?
Yeah,
So we've got to negotiate January more without Salah than anything else.
yeah,
Um,
we got. Well, again, we have Jota, right? We have Firmino. We have the what's that new young kid that got hurt? He's coming back soon, right? Harry or
Harvey Elliott. Yeah,
Elliot. Yeah, yeah. So I'm hopeful for him as well. And then with Mane and I think they should replace Mane anyways. And Minamino seems to be he's hungry. I'm not sure if he's up to the task yet, but he's not a total waste of space. So I think we can make something happen still. Um, and hopefully, Salah will be back sooner than later.
well, he's plays for Egypt. Egypt are not one of the favourites,
Yeah,
so hopefully it's only a couple of weeks that we haven't got Salah. From a selfish Liverpool point of view, but he's the one I want back sooner rather than later. Is Salah? Mane,
Who's
he's
Mendy play with? Mendy, is that Chelsea's keeper?
Mendy. Yeah, I don't know.
So he's out too.
Yeah,
He's on Mane's team, right? So he's out too. Um, I bet none of Man City's team are gone, right?
Man City have the strongest and deepest squad in the league. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
2 or 3 of their key players, and it wouldn't be too much of a problem for them. You know, I just hope we can get through to January. I hope we can sign a couple of players. We'll talk about that, and we've got 10 minutes left of the show, so let's talk about transfers and stuff like that. With the transfer window being open,
Yeah.
from a selfish Liverpool point of view, there's we've got I just think we need to strengthen the midfield. I said that in the summer, you know,
Yeah.
um, and I think so more now. We've got Thiago, he's out. Um, I've seen certain things on the internet. I don't know how true. It's not been confirmed or nothing, or maybe it has, and I haven't seen it. Is that he's possibly out for the rest of the season?
With
Um,
what? What happened to him?
I don't know. I don't know exactly what's wrong with him. But I think he might be out for the season. It's all I've seen over the internet. Um,
Thiago, that he doesn't do much for me either. He's one of those players that I think he's been a step slow the entire season, except for maybe 2 or 3 games,
yeah,
maybe. And I've seen some atrocious passes from him, especially lately, that almost cost us points and cost us goals, against us. So
definitely.
I don't think he's. I wouldn't miss him much.
No,
I think he's one of the midfielders that should be should be replaced. Him and Keita, and they got to get rid of Milner. And there's aging people in there. Even they got to come up with the next Henderson. They need to come up with who's going to be the strong midfield captain type player that's going to take over for Henderson, because he's what? How old is Henderson now? He's got to be getting up there, right?
I think he's touching 30 now, Charlie.
Yeah. So, and his he's not scoring as many goals. He was good for at least some goals during the season, but I can't remember the last time he scored.
I think he was good for maybe 3 or 4. He was never
Yeah,
really a goal scorer midfielder, but what he did is give you the energy. He still does give
yeah,
you the energy, but he's the same as well. Some wayward passes from him lately. But I just think the game against Leicester, when Klopp, changed the midfield around a little bit, what came on wasn't the same quality as what came off. It just wasn't. We didn't boss the game in midfield. We were coping. We were, in fact, on times I think we were on top of Leicester. But when we made them couple of changes in midfield, Leicester just took control of the game, took control of midfield. That's where your games are won, really, in midfield. That's the engine room. Like, you need a really good midfield, and you need the quality that's going to come onto the pitch as close as good to the quality that's on there already. And I think that's what I'd like to see Liverpool go out and do. Me personally, I'd like to see them go out and get Rafinha from Leeds. That'd be something I'd like to see for Liverpool.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
some people disagree. I don't know, but other transfer. This is the transfer window that it's hard to use. You know, we talked before about you got to give managers time. You got to give them a few transfer windows, stuff like that. I find this particular transfer window, the one in January, hard to use that as one way the manager's been able to use to strengthen his team in the way he wants, because you're in the middle of the season. There's not much availability. Teams don't want to let the players go. You know, the only way you're going to get players is like if they're coming to the end of the contract or something like that, or you put in a ridiculous offer with loads of money attached to it. So it's a really hard, really hard window. But I think Liverpool do need to strengthen in like midfield, definitely, and up front as well. We need something up front. We've got Jota, yeah, and we've got Firmino, we've got Mane, and we've got Salah. But we need someone else in there who's going to push it and push those other 3 and 4 for the starting bit, because if you don't have the competition, you're going to see things like Mane go off the boil, and he has
Yeah,
gone off the boil. He's gone off the boil for the last 2 seasons for me. You
yeah.
know, he hasn't done a lot for the last 2 seasons, and it's hard to say. It's hard to watch because I really rate the player. I like him. He's done really good stuff since he's been at Liverpool. But I think he needs a bit of competition. He doesn't have competition. If Jota comes in, it's generally to take Firmino out the game. It's not to take Salah or Mane out the game. So I'd like to see a little bit more quality up front. Midfielder and an attacker, I think, is what Liverpool should be targeting this month. I think, Charlie, and the summer if you can't get it this
I
month.
would like it when they come back. It'd be like I'd rather have Jota, Firmino, and Salah up front than Mane.
Yeah,
Just because Firmino's more of a playmaker, even though he's not scoring as much, but he could set up Jota and Salah better
yeah,
than Mane, I
mm,
think. But
yeah. It's
this,
a good shout. There, it's a good shout. Jota, he can play along anywhere, and along that front three, but he is more dangerous through the middle, isn't he?
yeah,
He finds the spots that Firmino doesn't. You're dead right. But Firmino's a playmaker. Jota's more of a get in behind, kind of player. So Firmino comes on. I don't expect him to get 20 goals a season. Firmino, I expect him to contribute. I mean, he scored a good back heel today in the FA Cup. Um, but what I like about Firmino is everything he does, because when he's up the top and he's pressing, we press better with Firmino on the pitch than we do without him on the pitch. And
yeah.
he's also very clever with the ball and his tricks and stuff like that to find spaces, for his teammates. But if he has an off day, he has an off day. But yeah, they're my two wishes, Charlie.
Well,
Midfielder.
can Elliott be switched to the left side, or is he just should he is he just a right hand guy?
We don't know enough about him, do we? At the minute he's played in the youth and he's played out on loan and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Well, he
has been.
started in the first team, I think, but he was when Salah was out. I'm not sure if he was. I thought he was on the right side, but because he seems to have some spunk. I wouldn't mind him like Elliott, Salah, and Jota up front. That's not bad either. Especially if you got especially the two really hungry guys, which I see Diogo Jota and Elliott being really hungry guys.
Mm,
And they're young and they're pretty quick. And I would like to see those two up front together.
yeah,
Obviously with Salah, obviously.
yeah. It's about when he comes back, Elliot, now, because he had a bit of a horrible injury, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
And
going to
he's
be back in a couple of
so
weeks, I
young
think.
as well. Because he's so young as well. It's like I don't see them rushing him back. He'll come back. And I think when he does come back, he'll probably get 10 minutes at the end of the game or something like that. You know what I mean? And they'll bleed him in easy. But if Elliot can step up to the plate and do that, that's great. I'd see that's where Liverpool are heading. The last 2 summers we've not really done a lot. We've signed Kanate last summer, which was great. I think he's come in and done a good job. He was shaky at start, but he's starting to hold his own in there now. But yeah, what transfers would you like this month, Charlie? If any, we can get any at all.
I don't know about incoming people. I'd be more about development, about like the midfield. I'm starting to think would Jones and who's that other new kid? That Gordon. If
Yeah,
they can
good.
get if they can get Gordon in the gym and start lifting a little bit, get some meat on him, I think he could be the next Henderson.
Yeah,
He seems to be he seems to have a good football mind on the field. Jones, you've seen him do some really like Coutinho like moves sometimes. And then sometimes he's just blah. So you got to get Jones up to speed. He's young. He could be, he's got some things that you need in midfield. And then I think Fabinho's going to be good around for another couple of years too. So I think if you bring those guys into the mix of the midfield, then the midfield might be solid, more stable. But again, it's getting rid of those guys that aren't uh, dependable. I hate to say that about Origi, but again, whenever they started Origi in the past, he's done pretty much nothing. It's when they bring him on as an emergency guy, that's when he tends to be productive. So I'm still not I'm not sold that he's a man to keep.
Mm.
And again, it's getting rid of, is it time to get rid of the free up the spot on the roster to get rid of like Milner and get rid of Kada, get rid of even Oxlade Chamberlain. Is he gonna step up, or is he just gonna stay at that level because he's not producing that much anymore either? He's had some injuries. He had some points where he was okay. You start to wonder if he's maybe he's gonna be good, but then he falls off or whatever. So you got to wonder if these guys, if you can get money for them and maybe bring in some more of players that could be potentially great. Maybe it might be worth um, taking that chance. Bring in some money for these guys. Bring in some potential. See what some potential players that see what Klopp can do with them, and go that route. There's no names that stick out for me. There's that one guy. What is it from Palace? The blonde guy. Is it uh I want to say Carragher, but it's not Carragher. It's he's at Crystal Palace. He catches my eye once in a while.
Gallagher.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe someone like him. I don't want them to get like the big muscle guy that they keep on mentioning once in a while.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
want Antonio. I don't want those guys. Just don't seem to be
one
their steps forward. But
one name that has come up in the rumours is Bowen from West Ham. Who's
yeah,
having a good run of form at the minute. He's young as well. He'd probably fit the FSG mould. Young, good resellable value, stuff like that. I'm with you on the getting rid of the stuff that the players that we need to get rid of. Oxlade Chamberlain, for me, he has a good game. He has moments in games where he looks all right. Then he's flat. But he's done that his whole career. He was like that at Arsenal.
yeah,
He said because he wanted to play in midfield. He's at Liverpool now and he's getting played in midfield and he's doing it still. He's just inconsistent with his form. He's one of them players that, looked great as a young kid and he's never really fulfilled his potential for me. So I think
yeah,
you could see him go. Milner, he's at the age now where he should be thinking about retirement anyway.
yeah,
Henderson, he's going to need to start taking a step back as well. But yeah, the young kids coming through, we have got some young, exciting ones. With Jones, I think he's too inconsistent. If he can sort his consistency out, that'd be better. Harvey Elliott looks a real talent. He just looks when he gets the ball, he just looks something special. But he's injured. We need to get him back from injury. Gordon, we got him coming through. He's had a good, real first impression. But we've seen it in the past where the player comes out and gives a good first impression, then just fails to live up to that hype again. But I hope that's not true with him. I think you're right. I think that's the way Liverpool are going. I think Liverpool want to do that and develop the youth. And Klopp said it in the past that he wants to develop the youth and bring the players through. As young lads.
that's why we have 200 million to spend too.
Yeah,
How many of our younger players have stepped up
yeah,
in spots? They do pretty well.
yeah. I just think right now I'm probably just hitting the panic button a little bit because I see us dropping points. I see us with a real tough January with us losing Salah. Maybe I'm hitting the panic button saying, no, go and spend some money, go and get in the likes of Rafinha who can play midfield, also help you up at the top.
Immediate changes I would make right now when they come back. I would bench Mane. I'm sorry, but he's missing too many goals for the opportunities that he has. He's missing too many. Bench him or sell him.
Yeah. But who do we put in his place, though? You put Jota in there.
You put Jota, Firmino, Salah. You have Minamino as a backup. Minamino, he's not that great, but he's hungry, and he tends to, give him a shot. Give him a more consistent shot, see what he can do. Because he hasn't had any consistent shots. Hasn't been in there for like 6 games straight. Give him some type of, to see what he can do. Maybe, because I'd rather see that, give him a consistent shot than keep Mane in there, who is going to keep on missing and not perform. He's just, I think he's on a downhill decline, and I think you get rid of him, get what you can for him right now, and if Minamino doesn't work out, then you still have Elliott, you still have other things that you can still mix around a little bit, and then you go for the next transfer window. You try to get someone, try to get a bigger name, whatever. But I think at this point, I think Mane's gone. I think he's wrong to put in. He's not the right person. How many times have you seen Mane give the ball away too, or hit he's been chased down, or someone's taken the ball away from him? I think he's lost a step, and I think he should be sold.
Well, that's Charlie's view. Charlie's saying sell Mane. I'd probably say get Mane out. I'd probably go down the road of Widget on it. His form's not great. He's not done anything. I said it before. He's not done much in the last 2 seasons. So he needs a bit of time out of the team to reflect. You're not playing well enough here, Mane. On the bench, I'm going to put these guys in at Eddie and let's see how he reacts to that. If he puts his A game back on. I mean, that's how I'd deal with it. And then if he doesn't step up, then yeah, let's sell him. We'd probably still get a few quid for him. But on that note, Charlie, that's us over an hour, and it's been great to come back and discuss the festive period of football, even though we don't remember too much about it. I think we got through it.
I know.
John will be with us next week. So take care, John, and we'll see the rest of you next week. Bye.